or you feel like you just need more time?
No, we will definitely come out next year, but we always pick our shows on how my body's growing, you know. So the first show this season was Atlanta Pro, and he told me literally at the 12-week mark. He might have told me Saturday, okay, you're doing Atlanta Pro. Tomorrow made 12 weeks. You know, and I'm like, okay, so let me switch my head around to now we in prep. So it's basically prep. I'm like, you sure? He like, I'm absolutely sure. I'm like, okay. I don't go back and forth. I'm like, okay. So again, it's just how my body, you know, if he sits me out, then I'm fine with that, because again, he knows what's best, you know.
Hmm. That's good that you trust your coach. You have faith in him and his
Yeah.
plan for you. I'm thinking
Mhm.
about, because my oldest niece, she lives in Atlanta. I'm thinking about going to that show next year,
That's
stay
so
with
amazing.
her. Yeah, it's a Linda Murray show, and
Right.
Linda Murray is the woman that really she's been stepping up. I went to Savannah. I actually remember I was sitting in the VIP section. She's up there with the judges, and and she turned around, she smiled at me. I was taking pictures. I smiled back. I wish I could talk to her, but I know she's a
She's
busy
such a
lady.
nice lady, and she is just as friendly as she can be. Her, Lee Haney, all of them are just super, super nice. They give back to the sport as much as they can, from what I have seen.
Yeah,
They are very, very approachable, and so why not do their show?
yeah,
And again, that's home. So,
yeah, yeah. Because that's the eight crowd: Lee Haney,
uh-huh,
Linda, Ronnie.
uh-huh,
Now you have you know. Sid, and there's also Alina, Garcia. That's the eight crowd. Then you have number 10, at the top. That's Iris Kyle. And I mean, people could say like, oh, she won 10 Miss Olympias, but still 10 Olympia titles.
I
How many
know,
have you won?
I
So
know.
we have
Yeah.
here my man KL, the Wanderer shot here, the KL coming through. He says, hey, what's going on? Not much, brother. I'm talking to the lovely Miss Tracy Miller, aka Madame Lavoe. So kind of
Hmm.
made the two names, but
Yeah, because
but
it's still
yeah,
my middle name. Laveau is my middle name.
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of what's the origins of that name? Where did it come from?
Well, my dad just came. I used to ask him, "Why you name me?" And he could never really come. So I always said, "Oh, it's love." But I learned about Madame Laveau or Marie Laveau out of New Orleans, and she was they call her the voodoo queen or whatever, but and not in the essence of voodoo being bad, because that's again, I don't want to go historic on us, but voodoo is an it was turned around to be made like it was evil. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
but yeah, just learning her name and stuff. I'm like, yes, Madame Laveau, like, like she did good for her people. You know what I mean? So I think it's French. I'll say French.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, because
Especially
that's where
if
her came from.
Yeah,
Hmm.
especially in New Orleans and Louisiana. Yeah, they have a strong French history. French, Spanish is coming. And voodoo is a more of a religion. It's like Wicca. It's
Hmm.
natural. But people in this country of Christians and whatever they call themselves, they like to change it out. But that's how most people
But back
start.
in the day, it coincided. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was just you still healing, and all of that stuff came from that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, how some people take things and twist them just because
Yeah,
their beliefs are ideology. Especially you got a holiday coming up that's Halloween, and that's
yeah.
was celebrated for years. But it's not about celebrating the devil. It's all about the life and energies of nature. But
Yeah.
little kids just around wearing suits like that. I know I'm Brado Candy in the house. So hey, my light's off, my door's shut. Don't come to my house. So stay home. So I would say you ladies, you work hard and you deserve a lot of recognition. That's why I do this channel. You
Oh,
know,
thank you.
for like one of my favorite quotes from a movie, the Dark Batman Begins, where Jim Gordon says to Batman, "I never get a chance to thank you," and he turns around and says, "You never have to." That's why I do this because give y'all a voice. People don't understand. For you ladies, it's a cost. There's more expense to be a competitor compared to the men who just got to wear banana hammers and board shorts. Y'all
Yeah,
ladies have to your suits. That's right. That suit you wear at both at the Atlanta and at the Europa. Those are beautiful suits.
thank you.
Who designed it?
Oh, I had two. Miss Kathy out of Atlanta. She's just a little lady that enjoys doing costume suits. She does. Her and her sister do a company. Her sister does like a dance, little girls dance teams or whatever. So she makes their costumes, and she kind of dibs and dabs into competitive suits as well. And that's Kathy. And then the second one, Flexibella, who's well known. I think she did like maybe 10 of the ladies in Olympia suits. And had her revamp the tuxedo look. But yeah, two different people.
Well, if you ever have their like social media platforms, I'd love to share because I know some competitors who probably can use nice
Mhm.
suits, something that you can share with me. I'll share with them because that's why I like to do that because sometimes gives a help out, especially for you ladies. Because like I said, the cost of the suits right there, that's everything. Your travel expenses. Then you got to throw in your hair and makeup. In your division, you got to wear the high heels. You have
Mhm.
to be presentable, have to maintain that look of femininity, and
It's
it
all
costs
about
y'all.
it's the total package. Like you have to have the total package.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. You got to be both beauty and the beast at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, what? Like I said, who do you right now you really admire in the sport? Is there anybody you really think this is a person I really just especially when you get to meet them, like you talk about Jessica. Anybody else you really have been like a fan of ever since you've been competing?
Ever since I've been competing,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say ever since I've been competing because I'm being brutally honest. I didn't. I only did like.
Give us more, folks. Give us a moment. Give us a moment.
I'm being brutally honest. I truly did not know who to look at. Like I didn't go to I didn't know who was who. I didn't follow people's social media. I only knew what my coach was telling me to do, right? So this last year or so, I really gotten into understanding it, looking at different physiques, but not to the point of me comparing myself to them because everybody's chapters are longer or their stories. So I can't compare myself to somebody who's been doing this for 10, 12 years to my 3.5. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. Um, but Zenobia is one that I really truly admire, who has become like a sister. Um, she also played a really huge role in this season for me. Not only for posing, but she did my nutrition. But I admire her tenacity, just what she gives back, her humbleness. Um, I don't think that she's given the flowers that she deserves, but they're coming. You know what I mean? It may not, and again, it may not look like how others perceive theirs, but she's more than deserving, and I can't wait till she gets back on stage next year. Um, but that's one I can honestly just name because I know her. You know what I mean? But I admire pretty much. I'm happy for anybody that gets up there and they are looking their best and can potentially set the new standard or coming close to what the standard is. But again, it's evolving. So now that Sid's gone, we'll see what the new standard is. So.
Yeah, I mean, if guys you don't follow, she's mentioned Nicole Zenobia Graham, who has been a multiple time Olympic competitor, amazing lady, amazing physique. I remember last year when she announced that she had to take a step back due to some
Mhm.
medical issues, and I was kind of like I was hoping she would make the show because she has a amazing physique. One lady who I follow, I recently posted something of one of her pictures, and that is the lioness, and her hair. I know her name off the top of my head. She's from Canada. She's God, her head's top. I posted. I took one of it. She
Who,
was a
Lola
picture of her.
from Canada? You're not talking about Lola, right?
I like Lola. No, this is another
Uh-huh.
lady. They call her the lioness on her IG.
Oh,
I know. No, Maggie Watson. Maggie Watson. Just
okay.
yeah, beautiful physique. She posts stuff on social. I follow her. I like I said, I posted one of the pictures on my in my IG stories, and she liked it. And I said, she's a beautiful woman. I can't lie. You know,
Oh,
she's a beautiful black woman. Just
shout
it's a,
out to the Black Girl Magic,
I,
Maggie.
as a fan, I love, like I said, I love Weird Muscles, but I love you Sisters with Muscles because just something beautiful about you. People like I was a fan of people like Linda. I wasn't too fan of Linda, but Laura Craval, Vicky Gates, you know, Andrea. Uh, I got to meet Rashada Boswell a couple of years ago when she was down here in North Carolina doing a seminar. I'm a fan of you ladies. Being like I said, I grew up. I had my mother and three older sisters,
Hmm.
and I've been around women most of my life. I had two other brothers and nephews, but I grew head of the family were my mother and my three older sisters. Also, I worked in textiles with women for 13 years, and I also worked in strip club for another 6 years. So I
Okay.
worked around women a lot, and I really, really love y'all. Same time, I appreciate what y'all do, but sometimes there's a little bit. Sometimes we hate you. Yeah. They're both our weakness and our strength. And my mother was my woman. She's been gone about 4 years. I miss her dearly, and this is the person that really, when I started this content, because I was taking care of her, I need something to help my mindset. And I've been a
Hmm.
fan of the sport of body for a long time. And then to talk with you ladies and make content about y'all and share your stories and do these interviews, I really get a perspective of what you go through. I mean, I can never understand you as an athlete. That's who you are. You're an athlete. I can never understand what you do and how you do it, but I get to learn stuff when I do these interviews. Um, this is from my man KL. He says, with the difficulties of FBB, what keeps her going? So, what, like I said again, what keeps you going, especially competing? Now you get your Master Olympia qualification. Now, next year is is a possibility. Maybe get to Olympic qualification. What keeps you going?
Um, well, now definitely that because I qualified for the Masters, bringing my best package to date there. Um, I think my circle keeps me going also for the most part. My community that I have, they're super supportive for one, and they can't wish the best for me if I don't see the best for me, if I'm not putting my best foot forward. So I think the support from my circle is very key. Definitely helps me go because I live in Atlanta, but I'm a traveler for work, so I stay in a hotel 90% of the time. So I'm by myself. I prep in this hotel. I cook the same food, go to work. So I work out, repeat. So that I just think the support of having people that continuously to push me and me push them, that helps a lot. And then not only that, I have to send my check-ins every weekend. So I'm not trying to that helps me stay accountable too, right? But I think that for the most part.
She has a beautiful smile, guys. She has a beautiful smile. So yeah,
Uh-huh. Thank you.
what is your work? What do you do for a living?
So my background is radiology. So I do interventional radiology and now cardiology. So I work in the cath lab. I'm
Oh,
around STIMIs or heart attacks and things like that.
well,
Pacemakers.
you're talking to a man who has a pacemaker, had it for at least 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, right
Okay.
here is my little buddy.
So it might be time for that battery change because they got a life
Yeah, I know. I got another two
expectancy.
years. I got another two
Yeah.
years. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I got to see my ortho, my no, my cardiologist in another month or so. But
Okay.
yeah, I do appreciate that. I remember when I had my first heart attack when I was 39 years old. It was at work. I
Wow.
thought I had a cold. I went to my sister's house. She told me go to the hospital. I went to I went to urgent care and sent me to the biggest hospital in the area, and then I was there for the cardiac for about a week till everything got together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you. I won't say it like this. I will say thank you for your service because you really help out people like myself. We really appreciate y'all,
Thank you.
and it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity to talk to someone like yourself. We have here from your girl T. She said, Maggie, you're a little late now. So yeah, you're a little late now, but yeah, it's a lot to do this sport. And people need to understand that it's not about what drugs you take. Because I have people tell me, say, George, guys guys can take gear I take, but it doesn't look like what I gonna look like because you know what? If they not stay, consistent and stick to the regimen of their training, it's not easy. Like Ronnie Coleman says, everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but don't want to lift that heavy ass weight.
Right. Ronnie's something else. I just saw his interview with Shannon Sharp. It was really, really good. It was
Yeah.
good.
I was looking at some pictures. Linda and Lee was took a picture with Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah,
came. He surprisingly he knows a lot about bodybuilding. In that interview, I was super impressed with Shannon. I've been following him since he started Club Shay Shay though, but before the Cat Williams thing. But I was super impressed on like just the questions that he asked. I'm like, oh, this man, either he studied in that little short period of time, but you could tell it's only certain questions that you know to ask if you don't know what you're talking about. But it was a good interview. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad Shannon showed up.
I think bodybuilding does need that mainstream attention. I used to remember back in the
Yeah.
day, bodybuilding used to be on network television. You should catch it on CBS, not CBS, NBC or ABC. You can
Oh
catch
wow.
it. You should catch it on ESPN. Used to carry it. Um, Fox Sports used to carry it. But now you see sports like cornhole, you see
I
darts,
know.
poker, because everybody's going to use that. Well, it's about the steroids. It's not. That's just one
Mhm.
thing. Truthfulness, everybody uses it. If you look at when baseball had a whole congressional hearing about steroids,
Exactly.
those guys are millionaires. If they want to take something to help them give them an edge, that's what they're going to do.
Exactly.
The whole thing with Marion Jones and Ben Johnson, those Olympic level competitors.
Hmm.
It's just so easy to pick on bodybuilding because it's such a fringe sport. You think about bodybuilding, you think about two names. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno, the Terminator and the Incredible Hulk. But
Hmm.
if people get more educated to, don't mind that some ass out there. If you get more educated to the sport, understand what's about the sport, the work you got to put in, the time you got to put in, the training. Don't
Yeah.
look so much at the steroids part of it. And one thing, if bodybuilding was more where it was like a mainstream sport where it was more affordable to compete. Like I said again, it costs y'all ladies a lot more, compared to the men. The tanning, the
Yeah.
training, and this and that. If this was like where it was, I mean, one lady says she wished that bodybuilding was more like a real job where, she wouldn't have to work because she worked as a third deputy in a jail. It would
Mhm.
cover the cost of when you go to a show, when you compete, the
Right.
cost of your when you get your card every year updated, all this
Yeah.
other stuff that's involved in it.
Yeah. Exactly. You definitely spend more than you make.
Yeah,
So we definitely do this because we are insane for one. We do this because we are insane people. But two, you gotta love it though. I mean, because you take a lot more losses than you do wins, and you spend more than you make. So
yeah. This thing is, you
that
gotta
means
love it.
the math not mathing.
Yeah, the numbers not work like my man Jason says, men lie, women lies, numbers don't. So and you
Right.
you spending maybe a couple $1,000s on a suit, and then you might
Right.
get if you get first place, you might get $2 or $3,000, and then
Right.
yeah,
And that doesn't cover. That doesn't even scratch the surface on probably what we spent.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just
you're appreciative. You getting something back, but that's a whole nother topic for another day,
yeah.
But
That's why I often like some of the ladies, especially after the shows, they do the photo sessions because it's a
yeah.
way to make a little money and income. As sometimes some women for them to uh, you know, make way. Some do as I call them the beat the meat websites. That's what they are. We know what they are.
Okay.
And it's just if bodybuilding was more a lucrative sport, where which there was a way to make a living out of it. And I think if the mainstream wasn't so prejudiced, because news will tell about steroids, yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you look at sport, it's a sport of taking the human body and transforming something different. The grace and beauty. If you look at divisions like even
Exactly.
your division where you are more the slender, broad shoulders. You look at the
Mhm.
bikini girls. They look like the norm. You look at
Right.
wellness, which is the girls with a little bit thicker with heavy bottoms. You look at women's
Hmm.
bodybuilding, which is the muscle, the mass, and you look at physique, which is athletic built. And people see it like that. I think maybe the mainstream companies will like be more involved in it. Like one thing is, are you sponsored? Do you have any sponsorship?
No, I don't have any mainstream. Mm-mm. No,
Mm.
I sponsor myself.
Well, like I said, there's one
Yeah.
thing I think sponsors does help. I mean, it would help for some of you ladies to have, because I know some companies are kind of tentative. They want to have somebody that can really, represent their product. But this is why I like this. If I was someone, I would say, I like your story. I like who you are. I would like to sponsor you. But then, like I said again, you have those weird guys. You say,
Yeah.
hey, Tracy, yeah, I seen you that nice little
I
tuxedo
think
suit.
I hear what you said before you go there. I would say the difference too. When I got in this again, I'm in masters, so I'm in my 40s. I started bodybuilding after having a career. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things for me. I was fortunate that I was settled already. I didn't start this in my 20s, and I'm still, I won't say the struggle bus, but the struggle bus, because I think in your 20s and your 30s sometimes you're still trying to figure things out. I'm fortunate enough to be, not that sponsorship would not help, please sponsor me, but I know what I can and I can't do, and what I can afford and what I can't afford. And I'm at a place, if I can't afford it, then I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that, again, you have to understand you're taking more losses than you do wins. So you have to have some sort of pleasure out of this and still know you have to live after this. You know what I mean? If depending on what your goal is or what you're trying to achieve out of this. But yeah, sponsorships would help. But again, that's you being now having to post every whatever the criteria is. You know what I mean?